Hey guys, welcome back on the channel. Fabrizio Romano here, as always, to keep you posted on the transfer market. Today, guys, we have a late night. Here we go. That's a bomb, an exclusive story, but also much more to say. And so let's jump into it. And guys, here we are again on the channel, busy hours, busy days, the transfer window in full swing with an exclusive story, one more, because after Álvaro Carreras to Real Madrid, exclusive, here we go. Remember that the left back from Benfica is going to Real Madrid for 50 million euros paid in installments, so everything agreed for Carreras to be the next left back for Xabi Alonso. The here we go of the night is about Noni Madueke, a story I've been telling you in the last few weeks. Contact Arsenal Noni Madueke camp, then the agreement between Arsenal and Noni Madueke over 5-year contract, then Arsenal and Chelsea indirect negotiations club to club, and now after the official bid around 50 million euros package as total part of the proposal, opening proposal made more than 24 hours ago, now Arsenal have agreed a deal with Chelsea for Noni Madueke. We have the here we go, and that's a big one of the biggest of the summer transfer window. And it's an important story because how much Arsenal is going to pay to Chelsea for Noni Madueke? My understanding is that the total package, and also included, is going to be 52 million pounds. So this is going to be the total agreement, and also included for Noni Madueke. The relationship between Arsenal and Chelsea is very good, and this was helping to get the deal done very soon without extending the negotiation for 2 or 3 weeks. It's been quite short, and this is thanks to the very good relationships they share, Arsenal and Chelsea. Why Arsenal go for Noni Madueke? I have many questions on this story because I see many Arsenal fans asking questions about this deal. Well, Arsenal see a potential in the player. Arsenal believe that he can cover both wings, so be an important player on the left, also on the right as a backup for Bukayo Saka, but also on the left. They believe that his potential is still a lot, still unexpressed in many cases, so really optimistic on the future development of the player, believing that for their style of play can be absolutely perfect. And then Mikel Arteta. Don't forget Mikel Arteta, because my understanding is that internally Mikel Arteta has been pushing for this deal for Noni Madueke. I can reveal to you that Mikel Arteta already spoke to the player. It already happened in the recent days, even before they reached an agreement, with the authorization, of course, to explain the project, to explain the vision, and Arteta was very happy about the feedbacks he had from Noni Madueke. So they were pushing from Arsenal to get this done as soon as possible, and they did it. So Noni Madueke is gonna be an Arsenal player. The clubs have already started exchanging emails. Friday, today, they will exchange all the official documents, sign everything, then medical test, and Noni Madueke will be a new Arsenal player, 5-year contract, 2030, and so one more addition for the Gunners after an important start of the transfer window. Guys, many of you asking me if this is impacting the idea of Arsenal to go also for Eberechi Eze. No, this is seen as a completely different case, so Arsenal remain in conversation for Eberechi Eze. At the moment, the talks are between Arsenal and the agency representing Eberechi Eze, with the player keen on a move to Arsenal, waiting to see when, how, if Arsenal will act club to club with Crystal Palace. There is a release clause into the contract, but the original idea expressed by Arsenal when they spoke to the agents of the player was to proceed and try to reach an agreement on the structure of the deal instead of triggering the release clause. Then this will depend on Crystal Palace, on what they want to do with Eberechi Eze, but for sure working on this deal on player side at the moment, waiting to see what happens on club side eventually with Crystal Palace. But for sure, the addition at the moment is going to be Noni Madueke. Guys, I wanted to add something on Rodrigo, because I told you, and this is going to be an important story, I told you that Real Madrid will meet with the camp of Rodrigo next week, and I can confirm this information. But I keep telling you that Real Madrid will leave the decision to Rodrigo. It's Rodrigo who has to decide what he wants to do. Real Madrid are open. This is the big difference to 1 year ago. 1 year ago, Real Madrid closed the doors to any club interested in Rodrigo. Now Real Madrid are open, so it's Rodrigo who has to decide. who has to talk to his family, to his agent, to the club, and then decide, okay, I want to stay, I want to compete, I want to be a Real Madrid player, or I feel I want to go, I want to try something different. Real Madrid will leave it to Rodrigo Goes. So this is the case, it's the player who has to decide. Let's give Rodrigo his time to think about it. After 5 consecutive games on the bench, is Rodrigo who has to decide whether he wants to focus on Real Madrid, compete, try to be an important player for Xabi Alonso, or maybe go and try something different. But Real Madrid will not close their doors to Rodrigo. Guys, I wanted to add something also on another winger, as we're always mentioning wingers. And that winger is Garnacho. Today on social media and on English media, also UK media, I saw many reports, and many of you sent me that, about Napoli president Aurelio De Laurentiis speaking about Alejandro Garnacho. Well, my understanding is that those quotes are completely fake. Aurelio De Laurentiis didn't speak about Garnacho, I think, for the last 6 or 7 months. There is nothing. Napoli are not in talks to sign Alejandro Garnacho from Manchester United. Also important to say that Bayer Leverkusen were showing some interest. It was 2-3 weeks ago, but the deal is more than unlikely, almost impossible for Bayer Leverkusen, despite the appreciation of Erik ten Hag, because also Leverkusen, they feel the player wants to stay in the Premier League. Leverkusen feel that Garnacho will wait for a Premier League club to make a move and continue in Premier League next season. So let's see what's going to happen, but at the moment, Napoli are not in talks for Alejandro Garnacho. The quotes of the president, Aurelio De Laurentiis, were completely fake. And also important to say on the situation of Garnacho that Bayer Leverkusen believe this deal is more than unlikely, probably impossible. Then, guys, I wanted to answer also some of your questions on the situation of Luis Diaz. At the moment, Liverpool insists on their position for Luis Diaz. They insist that they are not in advanced negotiations with Bayern at this stage. They are not in active or advanced talks for the Colombian winger. I think the really important situation here for Luis Diaz on Barcelona, and not only on Bayern, remember also Barcelona interest, is to understand what the player wants to do. So now it's going to be probably up to the player to decide what he wants to do and communicate to Liverpool. Obviously, it's a difficult moment for Liverpool. We all have to respect that in terms of timing. Obviously, this is not a normal situation, so we absolutely have to respect the difficult, sad, tough moment for Liverpool. At the same time, it's the player, Luis Diaz, in this case, who has to decide what he wants to do with his future. Because Barcelona dream of Luis Diaz. They also have Marcus Rashford on their short list, for sure, but their top target is Luis Diaz, so let's see what's going to happen there. Bayern are looking for a winger. Luis Diaz is a player they like, for sure, but at the moment, Liverpool insists they are not in conversations, in active or advanced conversations with Bayern for Luis Diaz. So this is going to be a story to clarify in the next days. Probably next week we will understand more on this situation, but Luis Diaz at the moment is not an advanced negotiation at this stage of the summer transfer window. And so, guys, let me hear your thoughts on all these stories, from Noni Madueke to Arsenal. What's your feeling on this move, on this deal? And then Rodrigo Goes, what do you think about his future? Stay at Real Madrid, maybe try something new and eventually where? Also Luis Diaz, Eberechi Eze, Alejandro Garnacho. Guys, I wait for your opinion here in comments. Remember to like this video, turn on the notification bell, subscribe to the channel. See you soon with Fabrizio.